Morning, Petro. Have I got the right screen up? Charting screen. I'm sure I got the right one. I had two to pick one. I might have picked the wrong one. Just anyway, morning. You just joined in. Can you see if I got the right screen up? Charting screen, guys. Morning to you, sorry. Just a bit worried I got the wrong one up there. Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Mikey, I will discuss those, but after the Forex and stuff first, because obviously they don't open till later. So we're no rush, but we'll discuss the shares just after. Oh, yeah, nippy. Yeah, I love that. A great day profit. Hit my stop loss with a profit. Nice one. I think the TR guys now have learned not to think of the word stop loss. Anyway, it's half past. Yeah, that's good stuff. It hasn't been bad the trades lately, actually. Yeah, they've been pretty good. Not all of them, never will be all of them. You might get a run, but over a period of time, you know, you just got to accept that. But as long as the majority are okay, yeah. I just had to laugh. I had a great day yesterday. Hit my stop loss. Oh, hang on, with a profit. Sorry, that just tickled me. Excuse me. Yeah, and say, you know, the world is frightened of the word stop loss. Say, oh, stop loss. Oh, no. Stop loss of the profit. Brilliant. Okay, now I've got the dollar Swiss franc up here if I go into the open trades and discuss that. And I'm sorry, at this morning's strategy meeting, I couldn't come up with anything better than this one. So before I go any further details, I'd like to see what you guys have learned and picked up. And I wanted to try and encourage people to engage. I still think people are either nervous or think it's some sort of quick class or whatever. Now, if you're a beginner, obviously give us a little bit nervous. I get that completely. But some of you guys have been in here for a while and hopefully building up some confidence. So I'm going to chuck it to you. I think there's a possibility here, whether it be now or forthcoming or on a watch list. Now, if I think that, I'm looking to buy or a sell here. I just want to get some opinions to see what you're learning, what you're not, and I can learn from you as well. Remember, it's all together. It's not where you're under an oral exam here and you're going to get 6 of the best if you disagree with me. No, it's where we can all learn together and show if we pick stuff up. So I think the possibility of something coming up on this one, but do you think it might be a buy or a sell, or what do you guys think? Let's see. Discussion. You're all unmuted if you want to verbalize. Guys are confident, can certainly do that, like Pietro. It'd be good. Okay, I hope you do as well. And that we all started somewhere. If I get the pronunciations right, that's the problem. I call you MM, or M as in James Bond. Okay, I call you M. I like that. But yeah, just join in. I'm glad the fact you posted on there to explain that. That's important because it means that now you've got the confidence to join in as a forum. So you can take notes, bring a piece of paper if you're not sure, write it down. If you're not sure what the hell I was on about, if I go a bit too quick or whatever, and I'll just explain it. That's the idea. But what do you guys think? Any particular opinions on this one I've got up at the moment? Who's really got the nerve and the confidence to get the ball rolling? Okay, Mike's on to sell. I've obviously got my ideas on it, but I think I'll just keep them back for a moment. What do you think, Christopher, Brady, Dirk? There's a few guys in there. What do you think? Yeah, out of the four of them, actually, I think probably Pietro, in my opinion, I get them wrong. It's probably the one I would choose, yeah. Yeah, I'm looking for sure. Now, let's just discuss why I'm looking. So just let these guys in, excuse me a second. Okay, well, first of all, technically, you can see the 200-day moving average. If you haven't got it, insert it. This is the 100-day moving average and the 50-day moving average. And never mind the gold one, don't worry about that for the time being. And the maroon one's the 10. So it's 10, 50, 100, 200, all simple moving average. If you haven't got them, you can load them, save them. How do you save them? Quickly show you. Right click, left click on template, and then save the template. Put your name, well, not say put your name in, obviously. Put a name in, and then press save, and away you go. Right, yeah, so first of all, take this pointing down. Then I'm going to look at the two currencies involved. One's a dollar, one's a Swiss franc. Now, you're just starting, M, so you won't know this, but fair enough. But the guy's been here, at the moment, the Swiss is reasonably strong. It's been stronger, but it's okay. It's also a very stable currency. It also is a neutral country. It's not part of the Eurozone or the American zone or the UK zone or whatever. And it's got a lot of big banks there. And so it is a pretty stable setup. And so therefore, to me, that's a strong one. The dollar can be a bit of a misnomer because it's often booted around by various economic fundamentals coming up from the US Federal Reserve. It's batting to get going. Now, Powell spoke last night that he's going to continue with his target at 2%. He realizes interest rates take a bit of time to filter through to the economy, but he also said, funny enough, that the jobs are pretty good over there, as in they've got a lot of them. There's not a lot big unemployment like a lot of other areas. And the problem with that, when people have a job, sounds crazy this, normally they spend because you're earning more money than if you don't have a job, clearly. And that can be slightly inflationary. So that the banks have held back some of their lending because of the problem we had with Silicon Valley Bank the other day and a couple of others. But most of them are structurally pretty strong. So it looks like he's upped the odds on an increase next month of another 0.25%. And maybe, this is a big maybe, another one in the year. Not anymore of that's the end of that, or we even bring them down. So they had a bit of a hawkish stance. And as a result of it, some of the shares came off, the NAS came off, etc. But they found out, well, the news is okay. It was nothing particularly new. So it bounced up again. So it's really the dollar is not really holding that strongly at the moment. 103 on the dollar index, which I'll copy and paste if you remind me just now, for new guys don't have that in there, is saying it's 103 seems to be holding. Now we're getting a bit of a downside in the dollar. So putting that all together, I would say if I'm going to bet in a boxing ring, never mind technicals, who I'd bet on for the currency strength or weakness, I would bet the Swiss franc is a slightly better boxer than the US dollar, a stronger one. You get it? Okay, a little bit high, it's coming off the moment there. So therefore, I'm on the sell short side. Now, now the reason I discussed it, having sent a trade idea, something Petra pulled up just now, is we're waiting for a bit of confirmation. Now, what's going to happen? That's what I'm discussing with you. I said in the normal in here, if we have two guys who like the trade, we'll put it down to trade on idea. I like four, preferably five guys who like it, support it. Then I will send it out to the office, WhatsApp, and then they will look at it and whatever and do their thing. And then they'll post it for me to, they'll post on the MD5 and I'll forward on to my group, VIP group or whatever the case may be. So that's how the system works. Now you should be picking up from that. I need you, I hope you need me. I pray you need me, otherwise I'll feel very lost and lonely and upset and hurt. But the bottom line is I need you as well, because that's very much part of where we do find trading ideas, where I can discuss it with you guys, get different opinions, look at it, and I might have missed something and pick it up. So all contribute, that's what I want to come across. This is not a classroom where teacher's in charge and tells you what to do, or you're going to get sixth the best or go to detention. Sixth the best bit out of date today. But anyway, this is a forum where we learn from each other. Beginners see something the intermediaries can't, and they might see something the advanced can't. You get the idea. We all mix in here, and that's what we hope to learn. Like a family, as Ron Dealey quite rightly says. And for the guys who've been joining regularly, I think they'll probably back up it works reasonably well. So I'm going to say this: if the guys like this trade and want to buy it, I have no problem. I put the risk reward or the calculator up, look at a buy. And if the guys like to sell it, we'll look at that. We've done that before and see which one works out. Two things come with that: it gives you the confidence to have your own opinion, and it gets out of the idea that a guy who's been trading for several years is always right. Unfortunately, humility, and horrible have to admit it, that is not often the case. So yeah, okay. So I hope that's all clear. So yeah, I'm sometime out today, tomorrow, whatever. But I'm not going to worry too much about that. I'm going to stick with my guns and sell. Now I'm going to go to short week. I've done longer term, weekly. There. I'm going to go to shorter term chart there. Just let this guy in. And on the shorter term chart, remember these moving averages work for all of them. I don't use them when they cross, uncross, like the indicators. I work on them as a base support resistance, a filter. You guys, the older guys will know that. That is held quite nicely, giving me more confidence to go short. That's why I swap down to shorter time frames. I'm looking at the hourly one there, and it seems to be, it's a little bit of move back on the dollar. So I'm leaning towards a short on this one. Right. So yeah, I'm leaning towards a short on this one. Okay. Now the big question is, do we enter now? Do we, first of all, are we agreeing the short? If that's the case, do we enter now, or do we wait for more confirmation? If you're aggressive on to enter now, remember you'll get a better price. If you want confirmation, you will obviously get a not such a good price because you're waiting for it to come off a bit more. So you might get it at 89.50 instead of 89.75. You get the idea. These things should be running around your head. And that shouldn't take years and years and years to get the hang of. I'm trying to get bullet points and simplify it, because one of the major problems the finance industry has been doing is trying to keep everyone like mushrooms, fed on you know what and kept in the dark. So they have that nice exclusivity to that little thing there, and nobody understands it. So that's great. We don't want to understand it so we can control you and your finances. I want you to take out this mystique and say a lot of this is common sense and get the concept behind it and start saying, all right, this is not quite the bloody degreed in bloody astrophysics I thought it was, which frightens a lot of people off. I hope we're all on the same page when I'm trying to explain at the moment. Because it's that fear of complication stops people getting wrong and makes it in their heads more complicated than it actually is. That's nothing to do with the price action. Price action is up to emotions and variables. That's out of your control. But I'm talking about getting the overall viewpoint. Okay, so I'm leaning towards a short and some on buy. If you like the short, we'll look at that. If you want to do it now, we'll do an RR. If you want to wait, won't do an RR. But if we get 4 to 5 like it, I'll put it out. If you like the long, we'll look at that as well. That's why I want to bring you guys into it now. I'm leaning a little bit towards that, Mr. PM, the Prime Minister of Trading, Pietro Mariani. Just love that. I've just loved the Italian. I'm talking about French. I don't know. I think the Italians have got it. You're gonna leave it alone. I'd wait for 1 hour chart to close. Mondiri's going to wait. You see, he's got ideas coming out. I don't mind that as long as he's got ideas coming out. Not, oh, it looks a bit high. I think I'll sell it. Ooh, it's a bit low, I'll buy it. Or I have a feeling I think it's going to go up. Or I see a bit of a green candle. That's not strategy. So that's where we're learning. I don't mind at all disagreeing, as long as obviously that whole idea of learning, it's got some sort of valid, not just emotional point behind it. Okay, so I'm leaning towards now, to be honest. Pietro's leaning towards now. I'm not going to put it down. I'll have two other guys other than me. Then I'll put the RR up. I need another guy. And then I won't be putting it out on the office WhatsApp. And there's at least 4, preferably 5 guys who also want to go in the direction that I've suggested. If, however, 5 of you say you want to buy it, I might swallow my pride and put that out and see if you're right. Okay, Mike wants that up soon. So, okay, you're in. Well, hang on. So, Mr. Barlow, I like it. No 3 hours of discussion with the wife, the dentist, the doctor, and the board of directors. You make a decision. Bloody hell, I'm impressed. Leaning on now for a sell. Okay, all right. So it seems to be going towards a sell. Hope that's because you listen to what I've got to say, and not just because you just want to agree with me. If you be strong by your feelings, not your feelings, sorry, your ideas, you think it's upside. But yeah. Anyway, so we're looking to short. Now, where we're going to put the stop. I don't want it too far, but don't want too close. We've had a couple of issues, not fairly recently, where we've had a fantastic trade out. Stop was a bit too close, hit the stop, and then flying hit the target after being stopped out. We don't want that. 40 pips is too close. Sorry, guys, I'm going to reiterate that. Please don't get your stop too close. It is infuriating, frustrating, hell of a thing when you're stopped out and you take a 10 rand loss, hits the target, you could have made a 50 rand profit. And don't forget, give your trades a bit of a chance. Don't try and take your 10 rand profits and then hold on to your 50 rand losses. I know it sounds crazy, but that's what people do. I want it slightly wider. I don't think we can get here. It's too far away. Unless, I think it's too far away. I think we'll try here. If it wasn't there since just over 2 weeks ago, so that's all right. So we'll do 9065. Second, let in Brad. Very important member of our ranks. His surname is ranks. Sorry about the play on words. Now, the problem is we've got to get a TP. We're going to have to take it down there, otherwise it's not going to work. 88.35. You might have to go to the weekly. Remember, you can modify your stop. There's no guarantee, you guys, it's going to hit the stop loss. Sorry, it's going to hit the TP. We don't want you to get into trade if it works out, get as far as this level here. Don't move your stop. Something goes wrong, it shoots up, stops you out on a loss. So if it comes down these levels, then you start modifying to protect. So if it does come down here, it doesn't get the TP, comes back, as Mondili said, then you'll be stopped out in the profit. Right, let's just get a little bit closer then. Then we do that. It's not too close there. Don't want it too close. Maybe I'd rather put this a little bit further away, actually. Because this is not as relevant to stop. It's not as relevant to stop. The fear of loss is more powerful. Rather do that. Okay, that's the problem with this trade is this. You've got to have the calculator, guys, because it's 186 rand for a minimum size position of 1 micro. Now, if you go in and you've got less than 1,800 rand in your account, you're going to go in with far too big an exposure. That's why I do go on like a stuck record. If you want to be a success in this business, you got to get knowledge clearly. You got to have the right equipment clearly. Can't be in the car driving taxi business. You don't have a car, so clearly you got to have the right. You got to have a Spanish mechanic clearly, but you got to have capital. And a lot of the trades, if you have small amounts of money, you cannot take without overexposing drastically. Now, if you've got 1,000 rand in your account, you go for this trade, you're risking 18%. And if you don't know that means, you need to get a basic math course quickly, because that will come up and bite. Equity management is very important. 18% is grossly overexposed. So this guy can only take, he's got 2 grand above. Having said that, anybody like it? Thank you, Pietro. Thank you for your support, because it's important for the people, because they're coming in, they're not aware of that. Remember, they come on board, it's from Instagram or Facebook and all the rah, 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 and they don't understand fully what's involved. I'm not a dream spoiler. I'm trying to increase a little bit of reality. Keep the dream, but to make them come true, you do need a bit of reality. Thanks for your support on that, because I've got a feeling you've probably caught a little bit by that in the past yourself, and you're putting it, and you realize now that it would have saved you a lot of time, hassle, and more importantly, money, if you'd realized some of those aspects. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. Yeah, I thought so, yes. You've had, like myself, all this I'm going on about is from previous experience I didn't know about. I'm trying to save you going through the pain, if you can take it on board. So that's the trade idea. Now, likes it, Mike likes it. I've lost him all that chit chat's going on about. If any, I've got 2, so it's definitely going to go down. Pietro likes it, got 3. Anybody else like it? I'd just like another one, then I'll send it out in the group. Dirk is going to sit on the side. That's fair enough. I'm wrong with that. If you don't want to do it, please don't do it. It's just, oh, well, sod you. No, it's your money. You've got to be comfortable. Anybody else like it? We got 3, myself 4. Is there a 5th person likes it? Do you like it, Anna? Great to have you, by the way. I heard you driving earlier on. Keep in touch. Do it daily, twice. I don't care. You're very important. Keep in touch, Anna. Make sure you might like the trade, can't go in if you haven't got enough free margin and the percentage is too high in your balance. Capello, you're a star. That's good enough for me. Going to get this sorted out. Just give me a second and I'll write it down. Give me a moment, we're going to post it on the group. Here we go. Great. I'll just sort of write it down after all that. 8973. Zero 0.9061. 0.9061. 0.8818. So round it up on the, because I ignore the point, I'm after pips. Remember, guys, let's just round it up. Otherwise, confusing you. 12 to 78, you think you made 60 pips. No, you haven't. You made 5 or 6. You get the idea. It is 180 bucks. Right. Okay. Just make sure the 15, I'm running around. Right, that's fine. You should all have it. Always remember, guys, you will not be able to pick bottoms or tops. So even if you go in, you automatically expect to go immediately in your direction. Psychologically, absolutely quite normal. Nothing wrong with that expectation. Remember, there is millions of guys out there trading. Literally, I'm not exaggerating, millions and millions. And they have different cultures, different amounts, different variables, different. So don't even think. Whether this goes to 80, 70, or 90 in the next 10 minutes, 5 minutes, half an hour, nobody in the world knows. And that's what creates the market, because you've got to have a counterparty. Pietro will keep on about this to get it better in perspective. So in other words, I happen to know that's going to go in a direction. If we know it, then you won't get a market, because if I know it's going to go down, I want to sell it. Nobody's going to buy it. And if I want to buy it, nobody's going to sell it if I know it's going in a direction. You've got to have somebody disagree. Like I said, anyone thinks a buy here or a sell. You've got to have that. If you don't have people thinking differently to you, disagreeing with you, you've got no buyers and sellers. It's all buyers or sellers. You can't have that counterparty interaction. That's very important to remember. So it could shoot up to 890. No, don't panic. I mean, as long as you got your stop, your volumes are correct, you know you can afford 180, take one. If you can afford 360, take two. You get the idea. When you do the basic maths, a bit of common sense, let the thing run, you got the strategy. How long will you be in? Nobody in the world knows. You might be out this afternoon, you might be out tomorrow, you might still be in it next week. Who knows? Look at the candles. I mean, they're all different sizes. The volatility of the market is completely beyond our control. We don't want to screw up what's in our control. And that's what we're trying to solve in the trading room. We need discipline in the mental side, try and control those emotional mental side, and learn some basic concepts. Once you've got that, and vital, get the volumes right. Because you're under or over, that can come back and bite. And you've got to try and be fairly consistent over volumes. Okay. Just wait for the bus to pick me up. Well, no, if you're in, you're already in. The bus to pick you up is basically it's a pending order. If you're in a pending order, you're not in. I hope we're on the same page. That's important. Maybe, yeah. The 200, where? No, 200 would be right out there. I'm not sure what you mean by that. 200 is right out there. But you lose the shorter term window. Let's have a look then. Okay, so knock that off. Any feedback on the trading support? Not as yet. Just a click from. Okay, that's fine. Got a bit of support there, but nothing feedback. You might stop and say, give me levels, and I'll give you the levels and then get it out. Okay, Euro CAD. I immediately think of downside on this one when I hear that. First thing comes to my mind is downside. Make sure on the daily, just because I like to use the daily as my strategy. Just make sure it's updated. Also, why I click form back today very quickly is because I'm not looking at the 4 hour. I'm just making all the information filtered through. So I'm not acting on misinformation. Right. Now, you're looking for short. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Still me this day. So look at the euro dollar for short. I want you to do that. I don't want to say, let's look at the euro dollar. That doesn't mean anything to me. Do you mean long, short? Leave it alone. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm already in it. I just need you to update me. No problem there. But don't say, look at the euro dollar. I'm looking at it saying, yeah, I like it for long. And then find out later on, oh, yeah, but I was in 3 weeks ago and I'm already in profits. Completely different scenario. So you need to give me that information. Thank you. But having said all that, I'm sorry, guys, that do all that. He likes to go for it. So just give me a second. I'll put this up. I'll probably do it in my head. Yeah, do it in my head. Just give me a minute. 180. Let's see. Other one. Oh, it's 325. 360. 3540. Is that right? Yeah. And the 400, 432, 720. 325, 650, 975, 1300. Good. So I'm just going to write that stuff down now. Okay. You're going to have to wait until I'm doing this. Okay, Eurocad. Here we are. Good. Right. Eurocad for short. Anybody think this is a long? I'm going to put my little Spandau Works. I see that as a short, even though it's in the neutral zone. I'm going to back the euro. Just sorry, before going any further, on the fundamental front, Lagarde, I think she's speaking today or tomorrow, whatever. I think it's tomorrow. I can't remember anyway. The bottom line is, I think she spoke yesterday as well. She's taking the hawkish stance, but doesn't seem to be giving much petrol to the euro. So I'm sticking with the Canadian being slightly weaker. The oil price has gone up a little bit on our trade, not being too bad, eh? It's a bit slow, a bit range driven, but at least it's getting a bit stronger. So even at a neutral zone, it is at a bit of resistance here. And look at these wicks are defending it. So I'm looking for more downside. So I'm not screaming going my upside, you might well be right. But I'm leaning towards the downside myself as well. So Eurocad, Tembi, Brady, yeah. Well, similar idea because the short, but otherwise it's completely different currencies. But anyway, yeah, so I'm looking at the short, but for the reason I've just given, but you might have an equally good question to go along. It's based in the neutral zone between the two. You can buy or sell it. You can sell it in the high zone if it's overvalued, buy it in the low zone if it's undervalued, don't forget. But at the moment it's neutral value, and I think it's more leaning to the downside. You know, let's look at the weekly. It's a bit sideways, etc. Yeah, it's a bit sideways, so you can probably fairly good case for upside. But I think at the moment I'm leaning towards the downside on it. I'm not as excited about it because the trend has been up on the daily, as you can see. You can see it's clearly been up since December. It's been up on the 100-day and it's been up on the 50. But I think it's getting to the stage where it's a bit overcooked and the euro's a bit overcooked. Remember, it's Germany's in recession. That's the major economic dynamite hub, whatever you like, engine of the euro economy, don't forget, and that's gone into recession. So I think that probably will hold them downside. Still a bit of feedback on that one. So I'm going to stick with my downside on it. Yeah, if you're looking for a long or short, I think it looks pretty okay either side. If you're going to look purely technically, for the reason I gave, I think I'm leaning towards the upside, maybe to a short-term fib to help the short. If you're shorting, you're looking to put the top there and drag it down. You can do it properly, I have just happened. It seems to be holding on the 618 fib. Remember, you take it there and drag it down to the bottom there if you're looking to short it, vice versa if you're going along. Okay, looks like the 618 held on the fib, which might help the cause a little bit. So yeah, I'm gonna put my saying on the table that I'm looking for. Right, what are you guys? Anyone look along on this before we go further? It's not rushing around, so we don't have to rush this. It's not like flying. We want to miss out. Yeah, not hearing anyone talking about longs here. So, anybody think it's worth going for a short at this stage? Let's look at the 4-hour chart. Any problems on the 4-hour? Well, on the 4-hour, clearly you see the downtrend coming in. Remember, these moving averages work on all charts. It seems to be holding as it puts its head above this guy here. It comes off again. The cells are coming in. Maybe a bit of confirmation as it's trying to break through at the moment. It might get to the round figure. The psychological areas support resistance is around figure of 1.45 or 1.44 or 1.4. So you get the idea. But it seems to be holding every time it tries to go up. Let's try the hour chart. It's still got some momentum on the upside. Let's look at the 15 minutes. It's indecision. It's I quite like the last one. This one, I'm about 55 to 60% in favor of the short. I'd like to be about 65 upwards in favor of the short, or the long come to that. I'm only about 55, 60% in favor. I think we might need a bit of confirmation before we jump in. Still a bit of volume trying to push up. You could well be right, Mike. Either side could be right, yeah. Just a second, I'm going to put the trade out to the guy there. Okay, put it out the guys. Good. Good. Okay, so sorry, that out. Concentration went a little bit there. Come back to it. So, shall we keep an eye on that one, guys? I'm suggesting I'm below 60% favor, and as I said, I like to be 65% minimum. So, I'm going to think maybe we're expecting it. Anybody else disagree? Want to go in now? I'll put an R up. Anybody wants to go in now? What do you think of that? I'm just going to get my router on. We get some problems with the fiber, which we had a little bit lately. Quite frustrating. That's the noise coming in there. Just going to get my fiber on. Not my fiber, my router are back up. Okay, so should we move along on this one, or anybody keen to see an RR to do this? Looks like we're going to leave it alone. I don't see anybody say get the RR up. Okay, right. What was else? The one you mentioned, something else there. Have a look. CAD CHF. Had a bit of a problem with that one the other day. I thought it was a nice one, and it didn't turn out so nice. I'm not that keen on this one. Not because we got knocked last time. That doesn't matter. Because we got hit bad last time, we might come right this time. Somebody did grow last time, so we come right this time. You get the idea. It seems a bit of a range throw. What's the length of that range? Let's just check the range out. It's only a 50-point range, 50-pip range, sorry. It's not enough happening. And even if it does, do you want to be sitting around edges going nowhere like a traffic jam? Bad enough to be a traffic jam for half an hour, never mind a couple of weeks. In fact, this goes back to nearly a month now, and that sort of go slow sideways traffic jam. For that alone, there's not enough buyers pushing either direction. For that, I'm going to leave the damn thing alone, personally speaking. No. There must be some better area to get your money working for you than stuck in the bloody traffic jam for a month. You get the idea. So for me, this is an LIA. Okay, can I move on from this one? Okay, right. Okay, nobody said anything, so I'm assuming move on, unless I get feedback to the contrary. Okay, now go through a couple of shares. Oh no, before we go to the shares, remember they only opened this afternoon after 3, so we'll come to that in a minute. Let's just go back to some of the stuff we got out. I think the AUD CHF got pretty close to TP. So I think most guys are out, and then most of them modified the profit. So either stopped out in the profit, hit the target, or whatever. So we'll keep going on about that one. That's okay. Let's go to some of the trades we had out recently. CAD JPY, we didn't send that out, but guys in the trading room did it, I think. And they did okay at it. 109.30 was the short, 60 pips in profit. So if anybody's in it, see a bit of support resistance there. I wouldn't get too cute. I still think it's a bit overcooked at the moment. I still think we'll probably get a bit more pullback. But anyway, that means it may rather get your your stop loss down to protect you. Maybe the 109. You're making a profit whatever happens. Just I think just bring your stop loss down to profits. Don't forget, guys, bring your stop loss down to profit. Not too close. 10 pips won't cut it. So bring it down to maybe 25, 30 pips above market if you're going short. And then you're going to stop that in a profit or make a bigger profit. But you're covered. That's the main thing. Okay, no problem, Brady. Good stuff. Nice to have you. Okay, what else do we got to? Yeah, EURCHF. I think that one is this one. I think this one gives us a bit of jip. Yeah, this one's giving us a bit of jip. Certainly did yesterday. Got a few people worried, but the patient ones hanged on into it, and it came off quite nicely yesterday. Came down to around about 75, well, quite nice, about 20 bits in profit. Some guys, I think, probably just took it to the hell with this, buggering us around a bit. So they might have taken and been out in a profit. If you're still in it, there's no reason why you shouldn't be. Hold on. It seems to be holding at the moment. It wasn't yesterday, around the 98 mark. Hopefully get some downside. I'm going to back the Swiss franc on this one over the euro, so it might come to the party. So just hang on in there on that one. GBP CAD. The office didn't send it out for reasons best known to themselves. So the guys at trade were privileged to get this one. You guys are still there, good. Okay, yeah. Okay, right, where was I? Yeah. Apart from the internet annoying me. Remember, I got 5 backups, so it's something out there. It's not me. It's no, I spend money on this. It's not an old cheap. Doing it professionally, hopefully. Right, GBP CAD. It's cleared about 100 pip profit. Some guys are taking it, happy chappy, happy days. Some guys have modified the stop. If you have taken it and you haven't modified the stop, please do so. Anybody turns this winner into a loser, 100 pips in profit, will go over my knee. And I have 6, but a dozen of the best. There you are. And on top of it, you'll have to listen to me an hour recorded singing in the shower, and that's about as bad as it gets. So please do not, repeat, do not turn a winner into a loser. Okay. So that was a trading room special. Fantastico. That's the winner. Brent, 72.20. And I think it's weird to remind me, I forgot about Brent, to jump in because it even came below that, which I did. I think last time I did pretty well. Okay, so the guys in this one are in a profit. It's a narrow range. A lot of fundamental iffy, ifs and buts are coming in on oil at the moment. Some pushing it further up, some come to push it down a bit. That's fundamental, not technical I'm talking about. Fairly narrow range. So I think I don't like it close than $2. So you got in, the market price. So if you got to stop $2 away from the market price, it's a bit close. I'm thinking break the law on this one, make it a bit closer. I think you can modify your stop to break even. Don't enter it now. Do not enter it now. If you're not on board now, leave it alone. But if you're on board, make sure you don't take a loss on it. Make sure you modify your stop to break even, or maybe just a bit above, etc. Just in case. It seems to be holding about 73, so maybe getting to 72.50. Dollar's a bit tight, but right. But as I say, it's a very erratic at the moment. So I'd rather just play safe. So you should have been in at the signal at 72.20, get to 72.50, and then at least you're covered. Okay. That's fine, Dirk. That's fine. Been a lot of guys there just probably learning this. You've already been doing this for a while, which means you've learned. I want the other guys to get to that standard as well, because it breaks my heart when the guy tried to trade the market, don't bother to find out how, where, and what. Get a signal, jump in, and think it's going to get to TP. Don't worry about the stop loss. Go to the beach and wonder why a winner suddenly become a loser. The blue goes red and stopped out. The signal's no good. Don't be rude here. Not the signal's no good. You're no bloody good because you're trying to be a successful trader without making any effort. It's not that easy. Okay. Right. So that does not include anybody who took the effort to the trade. In fact, we took it means you're A guys anyway. And there's a tiny percent of those people who are invited can insist on buying a trade, not even the free trade into a system, and wonder why, and then have the temerity to blame us. Can you believe it? Well, you might ask me. Okay, so make sure you come out, break even, bit of a profit or whatever, and stick with it. please, guys, I'm suggesting do what you like. I'm suggesting don't try and get cute with it now. And you should be looking at that chart. What are the buyers and sellers doing? The wick shows you as it goes up from the body, then the sellers are coming in. As it goes down, the wick shows the buyers are coming in. You get the idea. So the candle is primarily, therefore, for maybe confirmation, sure, but to see if there's any particular confidence in an up or downside as in direction. Example, anybody see that's upside? Obviously not. We've got a clear direction. Anybody see this is downside? Clearly not. We've got upward direction. What is this telling you here, this candle here? Neither direction. That's what you look at. Not that. That is not difficult, is it? Oh, God, Pietro. I was your friend. Look, I hope you forgot about gold. I just sport my day. But joking apart, we'll look at it in a minute. If you have a good run, I am the same as everybody else. You expect to get 100% good run, but you've got to accept the fact it ain't going to happen. But we're still in it, this word last time. Yeah, no, it's too late to apologize now. Sport my days. Oh, no. Too late now. Okay, we'll move on from Brent. We've gone on about enough. He's polite saying, leave Brent alone. We discussed it internally. Right, gold has been disappointing, but let's not give up on it. The dollar seems to be weak. If you're not used to me, guys, I got a sort of banter kind of sense of humor. Anyway, gold, yeah, we got in obviously a bit higher than that. Wouldn't be whinging. I wouldn't be a whinging pom, as they say. But as I say, we just come off 1900. I still feel it's going to hold. So yeah, the dollar's come off, which should give it a bit of tailwind. So maybe we get lucky and it recover. But we're still on board. We've got a strategy. 1890 is the stop. Don't give up on it. In fact, if you still like it and you're not in gold, it might be an idea to take it. But remember, if the dollar comes off, in theory, nothing's 100% in this business. It should be a tailwind to northward, upward direction on gold. And of course, unfortunately, vice versa. So if you're out, you've taken profit on gold, or you got fed up with it or whatever, and you want to rejoin it, you're getting a better price. Please, guys, if it says buy at 1910 and the price is 1900, you don't put a buy stop in, you go in at market because you're getting a better price. I'm going to offer you my house for 900 grand. Oh, no, Roger, it's on the market for $1 million. I'm not done. No. I want to pay you $1 million rand. I'm offering it for 900,000. Oh, no. I want to pay you $1 million. No, you're going to obviously go with the 900 grand. Clearly, same principle. If you're getting a better price for the signal, go in at market. Don't put a buy stop in. You say, I want to buy at a worse price. That's not clever. I think it's open on the hour chart on the dollar, and we'll have maybe a bit of hope on this one. Not much hope on this one. It's sideways, but not on the dollar index. Talking about dollar index, just going to copy and paste for the guys who don't have it. They're still here and haven't got frightened off. You get frightened off the first hurdle, probably save them wasting their time because they ain't going to make it this business. It's like getting married and then disagreeing with what wrestling to go to and then can get divorced. You've got to stick it out a little bit. That's the dollar index. This one's economic calendar. What have I got on there now? Yeah, that's economic calendar, yeah. Okay, right, so just make a note of that. As I say, if you've got a decently funded account, not a demo, properly funded one, not like a hamburger meal out of a couple hundred rand, that is. I was waiting, I'm sorry to say, all of our time. If you've got a decently funded account, support, and you want assistance, it's part of the service. Just because I'm allowed, doesn't mean to say I'm bad, by the way, but just remember, there we are. That's my contact details. Rather use a WhatsApp, it's easier and quicker. Okay, there we are. Yeah. If you've got as a 2.5 grand or 150 US or more, just let me know and I'll update you to my VIP group. Okay, WhatsApp group, that is. Where am I? Okay, yeah. Well, let's maybe if the gold come off a bit, we might get rescued on this one. Okay. If anybody's not in this and wants to go for it, I'm quite happy to go along with saying not a bad idea. So if you're not in gold and you want to take it, I can put an R up for you and you go in a much better price. Anybody want to take it at this better price? Who's not already in? Don't double up. You guys don't realize that. So much information, they panic, new signal comes out, and then they double up. Now they're 100% overexposed. So you want to put the R up. Well, I use the same figures before. You get a really nice risk reward on this time. So you get a much better price. Let's use the same SL and TP. Well, actually, what was the TP? I forgot. I think it's 60, wasn't it? Yeah, 60. Look at that, 3 for risk reward. Not bad, eh? It's only 30 odd rand a micro. So this is even for smaller accounts. So there you are. Don't forget, do the maths. If you've got 10 grand account, don't go 0.01. You can't be alive. You're just wasting your time. There you are, Nikki. Great. So there you are. And you're getting a pretty good price there, in my opinion. High risk reward. And it's only 30 odd rand a micro. So just about everybody go in there. Start to go up a bit. What a pleasure. Okay, I'm just leaving it on for a second. If the guys want to take it, work it out accordingly. If you know, $10,000 or 100, 200,000 rand account, clearly you're getting a much, much bigger position. That's the whole idea. The beauty is that's the trouble with more money. It is unfair because the guy who's doing the same signals a million, the guy who's doing 10,000, exactly the same amount of graft and work, making 100 times more the money for no extra effort. That's the beauty. The problem is a lot of guys haven't got the money and we make the same as the guys who do. It doesn't quite work that way. Okay, you've all got that. Can I knock it off? Put it back up if you like, because I'm not writing it down. We've already got a gold trade out. Okay, so gold hopes will come to the party. What else? Brent we discussed, that's fine. GBP CAD we discussed, that's fine. GBP CHF was fine. There's quite a few we got out. They're all doing fine. Oh, the NAS gave us some, came right, and then gave us some jip. Give me some more jip now. It's giving us some jip at the moment. On pound last night, or they say afternoon, going to a nice profit. There's a big smile on the face. Now everybody, we've got a wide stop. Remember, if you don't have the micro account and you've got limited sums of money, goodness sake, make sure you get the micro. Don't go into the NAS normal one if you only got a couple of grand, because you get hurt. This is highly volatile, and that's what the micro is designed for. And the beauty got a very wide stop, so let it do its thing. I just think, in fact, very good question, Chris. Excellent question, in fact. Why a guy learning in a trading room is so clear in the buyers and look for short? Because this is more fundamental. German recession, looks like the Americans are going to go into recession. There's a lot of pressure on the inflation over there. There's increasing interest rates are bad for the share market. It's gone up so much lately, which I think it's got the stage is overvalued. Remember, you can have something, let's see, right down here somewhere in the sell zone, and it's so undervalued, you think of buying it. I'd go back to the house scenario. The area you live in suddenly come off in value, which might not be worth $1 million anymore, but it's not going to be worth 0. It's got to have some value somewhere. I'm picking up what we think that now it's got some decent value. Maybe it's 600,000 or 700,000 rand, then we buy into it. Same the other way around. I think overvalued, and it doesn't seem to be breaking above this area here. So that's the reason. More than technical, I'm looking at downside. It's the macroeconomic problems that got out there through excessive borrowing when you got basically free money with zero, or not zero, closest down to zero interest rates out there. What they did was to get an overall picture. It's not that complicated, just explain it here. What they did with COVID is try to get people back to work, and other problems that came on is by what they call quantitative easing, which basically gives free money out. So what raised up all the jobs back is not money they earn, it's borrowed money by giving it away virtually for free. The reason why you pay cash for something, because it's cheaper to do that if you've got the money, obviously, than buying it by paying it off, because the interest rates means you've got to pay more than the cash price. But if the interest rate is near as down to zero, why use your cash? Rather use the bank's money, and that's what people are doing. The trouble is that has a great contribution to inflation. When you have high inflation, it means you're devaluing your economy, devaluing your currency, you're devaluing anything. You're devaluing your savings, actually encouraging guys to spend rather than save. And it's the savings the banks have to lend out. That's where you build up the wealth, and tax comes from it, and all sorts of good things like that come out of it, where you get strong economies. That's why the yen in Japan in the past doing so well, the China growth, etc. But when you start like the States and Europe are doing with all their social programs, get votes and everyone loves them, it's very, very bunny hugging and tree hugging stuff. But the problem is it's all coming from borrowed money, which unfortunately has to be paid back. You get the idea. Those are the matched credit cards will know what I mean by that. And that's the basic overall picture where I think it's going to get some downside. And it's backed up slightly technically for the last couple of weeks. It hasn't got going to the north, hasn't pulled back much, but I think this stage is overvalued. So that's why it's not a technical, it's more of a sort of economic over. But if you disagree and you want to stick to technical, some people don't even look at fundies. They say, sod it, that's why we talk about momentum and things like that. Then you would ignore it and just stick with your momentum from technical. Some people just pure
Hi, Roger. I think you're muted.
Nikki, why did somebody else turn out? I've been babbling along. I didn't realize I was muted and it came back. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Nikki. Come on, guys. Why has the ladies got to bloody well be awake to tell me that? Come on, guys. We're slipping behind the bell curve here. This is just not on. I don't know if Nikki and Anna are aware of this. I happen to be chairman of the board of the Men's Liberation Organization. And Nikki has not helped my cause there, guys. Okay, we're slipping another notch back. No. Right, moving along, all this BS. I didn't realize I was muted. Right, say the trades have been doing lately have not been too bad. GBP CHF, modified my stop loss into a profit. NZD USD's modified the profit. NZD CHF modified the profit, etc. So the last 8 or 9 trades, 10 trades, or there's only a couple of give me some jip, maybe another one, I don't know. But we seem to be on course at the moment. The Euro CHF is not brilliant, but it seems to be okay at the moment. The gold might get a recovery. Gold, sorry. Okay, gold. Anyway, joking apart, thanks, Nikki. Cheers. Talking away, I didn't know I was muted. Yeah, gold, hopefully, well on the daily. Let's see anything happening on the hourly. Just can't seem to get going. The dollar's coming off on the dollar index. You should all have it because I posted earlier on. So it's trying on the short-term chart. Maybe get some legs into it, but it's certainly looking prettier. Some guys, I think Nikki and a couple others might have joined it at a better price, so they've got a smile on their face. And maybe the guys got in like myself at the whatever it was, certainly higher than that. Yeah, maybe it'll come right. Remember, I don't have my trades here. I do, but I have it hidden. You get the idea. The idea behind it, so don't be staring all the time, because it gives you a mental bloody jip. You know what I'm saying? So, and you see, I got in at what price? 11, maybe slightly better than this, I don't know. But it's given me a bit of jip, to say the least. But I've got stop loss protecting, and you get the general idea. Why as I'm on that subject, I'll just leave it there for a moment, come back to that. Hang on your gold, and I think the market might get some upside. The dollar seems to be weakening. Remember, dollar and gold go in opposite directions in theory. Okay. Right. Okay, so we're doing okay. Give the trade a chance. Don't forget that. Don't panic if you see a bit of red. Up and down, that's always going to occur. And don't get your profit too quick, rather modify your stop loss. Give the bloody trade a chance. We put a calculator up of a risk reward for a reason. But if you take it after 20 pips every time, instead of being like 2 to 1, you're risking 2 to make half. You're risking 2 rand to make 50 cents if you take your profit too quick. So try and give it a chance, modify your stop. Sure, take it if it starts to come off a bit, then maybe say, sod this, I'm out of here. Fair enough, but you've got to use a little bit of common sense and a bit of thinking, not just emotional fear. Okay. Let's see if we can get this damn gold going. Let's see what we're battling to do. Right, I just want to go back because I knew a couple more guys in here. So sorry I'm boring most of you, but some new guys here, just go back. It's cutting a position. Too many guys think, like for instance there, I've got different figures depending where the stop loss is and blah, blah, blah. Remember, I've got a slightly higher account, so I get the maximum 2% or less, between 1 and 2%. If you've got a small account, you've got to go around the 5-10% because you will not be able to trade in 1,000 rand at 1 to 2%. You just won't get a trade out. You know what I mean? It'd be impossible. So you've got to unfortunately increase your exposure, but don't overdo it. Right, and even with much smaller risks, yeah, I do okay. I do okay. Don't think, well, if I'm bloody doubled up, I've got the account to do it, I'll make 5 grand instead of 2 grand. Well, look, I can lose 5 instead of 2. Build up rather than overexposing, and it knocks your head as well. Keeps your head sort of, balanced. Right, let's say you want to cut your position. You got 0.1. Remember, 1 is the standard. 0.1's a mini. 0.01's a micro. So 10 micros, 1 mini. 10 minis, 1 standard, or 100 micros, 1 standard. So if I decide I don't want to close in Taiwan, I want to bank some of my profit, I just double click on the volume there, and I put in much volume. I've got 10 micros, so I think I'm going to bank, I'm not, but I'm going to show you how it's done. 5 micros. So I put 0.05 in there and I click on close. What will happen then is that figure will obviously divide by 2, come down to 700 odd rand, and this figure here will change from 0 to 0.05. So you don't have to, you can close parties with it. You don't have to close the whole effing lot of it. You get the idea. Come on, Christo, you said you lost me at gold. Be honest now. You lost me after the part I said it was simple. That's apart from then on. That's why you got confused. I get it. That's an old one, by the way. That's completely plagiarized from somebody else. Not a new joke. Okay, anyway, going on there. The close button explains how much you want to sell. Exactly. That's a good point. So there you are. So if you've got 1 micro, you're snookered. You can't go smaller than that. If you've got half a dozen, you want to close a little bit, you can. Let the trade run. Or by mistake, you put in 0.1 instead of 0.01 and you're panicking, well, then close 0.09, leaving the 0.1. These little things, just basic arithmetic. It's these things you learn when you're 10, not when, you know, it's not advanced mathematics. Just bear that in mind. Okay, so we're back on some of the stuff that I've probably said. Hope it's all right. We're just saying the trades aren't bad. I say, look at my stop losses here. The stop loss there is in a profit. That's the entry is 60 and nearest damn it, 0 there. So 60 pips in profit. This, you get the general idea. So I'm sort of okay there. This one I can't move yet because the bloody thing, well, a little bit. Yeah, I got in again. I shouldn't do that, by the way. I did. I could afford 0.2, so I thought I'll just add to it. 0.12 and 8. You get the idea. So this one's okay, and this one hopefully will come okay. Not too bad. The Brent's okay. Again, it's a bit close. I always do $2, but for the reasons I gave, I got in slightly. Thank you, Pietro. I forgot to do the trade, and he reminded me. Went back in the trading group. I was like, okay, and I put it above there, so I won't make much, if any, bucks. But you get the idea. It's a little bit close. You give $2 away, but because of the erraticness, I put it there. And in fact, I'm tempted to go a little bit higher, so I'll do that actually, just in case. I don't normally go as close as $1 because the erratic nature at the moment. I do that. What's the price now? Make it 7. Okay, so I'll make a bit anyway. So at least I'm protected. Okay, you get the general idea. So everyone know how to partly close the trade. Get the idea. If you don't, and I've explained it to you, and you still don't, not a problem. Ask, and I shall reward with an answer. If you still don't ask, you still don't know, well, sorry, that's your problem, not mine. Okay, mate, thanks. As always, good to have you, Dirk. Right, a lot of people ask that, Nikki. Yes, you can, but what I'm saying by that, you can cut your open trade, but if you want to add to your open trade, you've got to take out a new order. So you went in by mistake of 0.01. You meant to go with 0.1 because you've got a decent size account. You don't have to panic. All you do is open up another new order and put 0.09 in. So obviously 9 and 1 is 10. So, you know, you just think, oh, hang on, it's going quickly. I want to get in there quickly. It's moving quick. I'll put the stop loss and TP afterwards. I just want to go in. I meant to go in 0.1. And by mistake, I went 0.01, clicked on there. And as I put the stop loss and TP in afterwards by modifying, it's moving quick, sod it. I'm in the wrong, at this case, I'm in too small, or 1 from 10 is 9. So clearly all I do is go back there and open up again and put 0.09 in. I have two trades running. That makes sense. Have you got that, Nikki? No, Nikki, hang on. No, you can't. It's no such thing as a no-brainer here. I'll give an example by that. I happen to know some terrible news is coming out on ABC shares later on today, right? So ABC, no, I know it's been released. ABC shares have got a problem. The profits were half expectation, so clearly it's going to come off the price of the share. Now, the next natural thing to do is, how can I take advantage of that? My answer is you can't, because when the share opens, it'll open down. So in other words, the shares, instead of being at that price there, will open at that price there, and you do the normal trading. So if you want to increase profits on the same track, let's say you went in the Euro JPY. In fact, make it gold. Stick with gold. I'll go over the phone, smile. You went on gold, and the situation's changed. At the moment, it looks like they're not going to increase interest rates in the States. Inflation's coming right down. The dollar's weakening. The yields are coming off. It looks like there's going to be and a lot of fears coming in. There's been a resurgence of nuclear talk in the Ukraine, Russia, carry on. Gold is like to go up. I can't afford to go in more. Then you can go in with more. I've done that here, as you can see. I still believe in that trade, so on more. But don't be ridiculous about it. So I'm going to make a quick killing here because you might be lucky, but then you might not. You get the idea. But then you can do that as well. There's no point. You don't have to just say if it comes off, I'll add to it. If it goes up, you can add to it as well. But long as there's proper reason for it. So just to put that back in a nutshell, you can cut your open trade, but if you want to increase your open trade, you do a new order. Bit of a long-winded way, that's the way I am, unfortunately, but I hope you've all got that. Have you got that, Nikki? So, couldn't join me in that. So a new order, if you want to buy some more, sell some more, or if you want to close some, you can close the open trade partially. Any questions on that? You got that? I hope you've all got that. This is stuff. I'll give you another example. You want to buy gold at this level here, where the crosshair is. It's here now, and it looks like it's going up. You don't want to miss the boat, but you still want to get a better price. Let's say you want to go with 10 micros. You might think, I want to be on board. Instead of putting a buy limit at 10 micros here, I might go 5 micros at market and a buy limit there with 5 micros. So if it continues up, I'm on board. If it comes back, I can pick up the other 5 micros, which is my total position, at a better price. You get it? Well, if you don't, of course, you come with the current price, obviously. So I bought there, let's say X, make it 10, and then it's going up. I like the way it's going up. I'll buy another 10 there. Obviously, buy that price, not the original, obviously. There's no such thing as a no-brainer, guys. If you continue to try and find a way around the no-brainer, I don't want to spoil your day. There's guys out there over a long period of time with multi-$100 million computers, 10 PhDs, and sort of think tanks and brain tanks trying to come up with a no-brainer of battles. So don't learn a bit of humility here. Ain't such thing. If you did and it comes right, you are lucky. A simple area when you start your trading journey, if you suddenly found that the holy reinventing the wheel in trading, well, unless you're from the Andromeda galaxy, it's highly unlikely. Rather learn and control your emotions. But the biggest problem is continual human being aspect worldwide is looking for a quick no-brainer shortcut, something for nothing. 99,999 times out of a million comes back and bites. Do it properly, guys. The FXND share market teaches you, that's for sure. Absolutely, yeah. To learn the hard way, yeah. Especially they start off the train journey, get 3 or 4 good trades, and they're overexposed. They didn't realize that. They started with 10 grand. Within a week, they got 20 grand. They walk around boasting in the pub to all anyone listening on Facebook what heroes they are. See them at the end of the month, and they're back in the poorhouse. Humility. You know, you've been an estate agent, right? Oh, this guy's definitely going to buy that property. And you go out, you chase after them, they're keen as mustard, and in the end, that's the guy who lets you down. And let the guy who came in scruffy dress and just wandered around, you ignored him, he's a waste of time, so he goes and buys for the other agent. And the guy who spent the last 2 weeks chasing, in the end says, I don't think I'm going to bother. We've all yeah, I'm trying to mute yourself, guys. If you're not interacting in the trading room. Having chit chats in the background, noise everybody. Yeah, mutual anyway. Yeah, remember a guy actually who went down to Cape Town a couple of times from Joburg to Tell a big deal. All the costs he bore himself, hotels, the flights, everything. Hired car, the guy pulled out. So just be careful. Okay, so you all had a kind of position, etc. Right, let's just move down. And gold is trying to come right, so that's good stuff. Try and get your stuff not where you're staring. You can check it if you like. Another way of checking, you go right click, and you can go and left click on trade levels, and they're there if you want them. But try not to stare at all the time. Check it now and again, obviously. Otherwise, you know it's going to burn your mind, and you start doing silly things like grabbing it too quickly or panicking or whatever, and not giving the trade a chance. Taking a loss. Oh, it's going against you. I'll take the loss and see it go flying your own direction. Not just trying to get a grip of the head there. Not easy. I get that, but work on that part. I'd rather work the psychological aspect than buy another 10 books or read another 10 bloody YouTube adverts. Okay. All right. Okay. Just the NAS got to start coming off to really make the picture pleasantly complete, because just about all the others seem to be doing okay. In fact, show me history. I shouldn't really be doing this. Not showing up and say I haven't been doing 2K too badly. Some being stopped out in the profit. You can see most of them are okay. Get the idea. So most of them are okay. There's some good a bit higher up there. Most of them okay. The only one I took a knock on was Euro AUD, and that was a stinker. What happened there was, what happened there was it came back, stopped me out. The stop was too close, and then went up and hit the target. So it's starting to look okay. Good. Right. So where are we? Yeah. Gold's going to get going. Yeah, I think that's. Oh yes, the dollar Swiss franc. Anything happened there? We just got into it, so give it a chance, but no harm in checking it. 73 you got in, it's about break even, give it a chance. We all want to get in the car and shoot them off down to Cape Town at the speed of a Formula One or a jet aircraft, but sometimes it is a public holiday and you are stuck in a traffic jam. Just be patient, if you see my analogy. Any questions, guys? Sorry I've been doing so much talking, sort of clarify some things there. Oh, the shares. Is Mike still there? Sorry, my friend, the shares. You still there, Mike? He's left, probably left in a half. Netflix, can't say I'm mad in love with the product, even though I do have Netflix. But from a business perspective, it's a very well-run business, and it might get a pullback with the rest of the market. But to me, Netflix could have some downside, but I still see a scenario like Tesla, buy the pullbacks. I still think we're going to have a big pullback soon. Then we go bargain hunting for the Apples and the Googles and the Netflixes and the Teslas, etc. But I'll be a bit wary of the moment. The markets macroeconomically is a bit overcooked. Oh, is that right? Thank you. I thought he might have stolen off enough because he's given me some shares to look at. So we'll do them quickly. If he comes back, I won't say, hang on, we never discussed them. Yes, we have. You just weren't there. Google, he suggests as a buy. Yeah, I like Google. In the long term, I love it. If you want to have enough money and you can afford to have an equity portfolio and you're looking at the long term, would I Google it? Absolutely, yes, I would. Short term, again, I think the market's overcooked. So I personally, technically speaking, looks like a buy. I'm a little bit nervous. It might go further, but I'm going to sit aside in a lot of these shares at the moment, a bit nervous. Goldman Sachs, we had some problem with the banks and it came off. Thought there might be a buy here because the banks are not looking too bad. It came through the storm, not surprising. It's a multi-billion dollar bank. Well, it's an investment bank amongst many things. Not enough to say it's going to jump up and too much indecision to sell it. So I'll leave that alone. Oracle, which you never really looked at before. I think Larry Ellison is actually now richer than just about everybody now. Has decent movement in share price. I think that'll come out there. Is it going to continue north? Not confident enough for that to do it. It's come back a bit of support, bounce. But look at that. The range of the last 2-3 days is only $2 or so. It's not worth it. Leave that. Okay, Petro, if you got to go, you got to go. Oxy, which is a petroleum company, is looking to sell on this one. Well, we've got to buy on Brent, so I'm not too sure we're selling it, but it isn't a sell zone. Technically speaking, a bit of a decision. Technically speaking, it could come off a bit more, but I'm not confident any of them to go through. The only one, which has bitten us a couple of times, to be honest, I think there's a possibility of a bit of a pullback. I'm not looking to buy any at the moment. That's share market. Buy nothing, not even Tesla and Netflix to buy. I'm leaving them all alone at the moment, waiting for a better price, or if you want to take a very aggressive stance, going against the trend, selling them. Okay. But Microsoft is the only one at the moment I'm considering might have a possibility some downside for sure. But again, not confident enough to go for it. I'd rather see some confirmation of the NAS at least taking up 14.7, getting near the 14.5 mark, to give me the confidence that I might start looking at selling any of them. And I'm too worried about the stratospheric heights of these shares to buy them. So that's my take on the share market. So Mike, you come back and join me. I didn't forget you. We did discuss them. Thank you. Any questions, any comments, any disagreements? Pleasure, we do. Remember, you minutes who will have different opinions. Sorry, guys, just think about that a second. You can write it down. Just got a little boyfriend. Okay, any comments, any questions? What's the time? We've got another few minutes to go. Oh, you're right. Just posted. Mike just posted. Okay, right. I'll keep you updated. Just give him a quick chat afterwards. Okay, right. Any questions? Anything you want to go over? Anything I've missed? Anyone you a recap on? Because you just need to have another look at it. Anything you want to just go in a share or a instrument with any sort of symbol, whatever you like to call it, you're not too sure about. You're in it, hold, modify stop loss, anything like that. NatGas, just you and I, Nikki, I think great minds think alike. Just as you're thinking, I haven't talked about NatGas for a while, and just as I turned around from my screen to look at the other one, I saw NatGas come out. You and I should go and buy a lottery ticket. Coincidence, phenomenal. Right. Okay, I'm prepared to start yawning. Have you got your yawn mechanism in getting ready? Let's look at a shorter term chart there. That's been the name of the game. It's been going nowhere for months and months. Leave the damn thing alone. We've been thinking it's undervalued for a long time. We got in, nothing happened, then it pulled back. Got a cheaper price, nothing happened, it pulled back. Then we got in again, it started to move up. 6 weeks later, he made a round, then it pulled back. I think NatGas, sort of in joke in the trading room, Finley's not here and Mark's not here, is if you say anything I don't like, I'll sentence you to trading NatGas, sort of an in joke, if you like, because that's about one of the worst emotions you can get is being poured out your tiny little mind, and this one is going to help you. I think natural gas, N gas, whatever you want to call it, I think just forget about it at the moment. It just I'm not saying you won't go back to 5-6 and you're going to miss the boat, but it's just not been happening. Been hovering between 2 and 3 rand way back for about most of this year. Yeah, it's just not happening. Just not happening. Leave it alone. I'm almost tempted to take it off here. Okay. Okay, can't think any more. Are we all good? Anything just want to clarify before we move on? This is your chance. Drop the trades out. You should be happy with them. Okay. This is your chance. We've got people here. We'll all, including myself, help you. Anything you want to, just a bit of clarification. I go too quick or whatever, just ask and I'll try, and if I can't explain it properly, I'm sure somebody else there will. But it's very important you get the basics under control. Yeah, breast's getting a bit better. Yeah, you're right. If you want to increase volume, you've got to buy some more. I wouldn't be doing that now. I would not be doing that. I think, as I say, there's a lot of erratism in all the moment. There's a lot of headwinds, a lot of tailwinds. That's why we had the trade coming out around about this sort of level here. But here we're aiming at about, I think it's about 78 or something, is it? You won't get a risk reward. It's in halfway house at the moment. This is one of the situations you're on board, enjoy it. I wouldn't be adding to your trade. I've been modifying stop losses and etc. But I wouldn't be adding to it at the moment. Yeah. But I hope you all know you can increase volume by just buying some more. It's simple as that. You like that Toyota? Or buy another one, said the sales guy. Don't buy one, buy two. Okay. Any questions? Anything else? Just to clarify, like Nikki has done. You all know how to cut your position. You all know how to save your charts. Don't forget, if you want any information instrument, highlight the one of interest, right click, left click, then right click, then left click on specification. It'll give you the contract size, the spread in points, that's 5 pips. That's the marginal deposits. If you want to know what the leverage is, quite simple. You get a calculator out, you put in 100 and you divide it by that figure. It'll give you the leverage. Do top of your head, 3 into 1,000 is about 333. So leverage about 330 on that one. And it says full action, you can buy or sell it, etc. So the information is there if you want it on each individual instrument. Fantastic, Chris. So there, you've got that. You've got the number if you my number if you want it. You've got the what you call it, the economic calendar. You've got the DXY. You've saved your charts, and hopefully you've got the these important moving averages. If you like the stochastics and other indicators, you can have them. You can save different charts. Don't forget. I'd say there's nothing wrong with them, and a lot of top traders use them and do well and blah, blah, blah. I just find that I prefer to keep mine simple, stupid, just like me, and just work on the stuff I've been working on. But you like some, you might pick it up on YouTube or another top trader. You can always add it to the mix, whatever works, okay? But I just strongly suggest you have the brown and the blue one, the 50 and the 200 simple, for no other reason, not because I say so, it's because internationally it's used and therefore often becomes self-fulfilling as support resistance and as a filter. But remember, as I mentioned to Chris, you can buy in the sell zone, sell in the buy zone, you just get the stages grossly under or overvalued. Hence, that's what I feel about the NAS. Okay, but I could be wrong. Get the idea. Okay, are we all good? Hope you tickled your fancy, Nikki, that you can join us and come more often. Because too many guys are coming in and either get confused or think they're going to have the trading problem solved in one lesson. No, it's not ongoing. Scalping is getting in, getting out very quickly. Usually an arranged trade. You might go to 15 minutes and say, right, here's a bit of a range here. You put maybe a line here. See at the bottom, let's make the bottom of the range there. There, you got a range there, comes back there, buy it on the way up, and you got a range here, put another line in here, and you do that there. And then if it breaks back into that range, you set it down there and get out, the stop down here, and then buy to take it up again. Scalping, in other words, it's not exactly range trade, that's a bit of a misnomer. It's basically getting it out very quickly. I'll give an example. They call them proprietary or prop traders who work for institutions, and this is the big difference between them, not their experience, which is there, them and you, the major one is they don't have your costs. You get the idea. They work for that specific market maker, institution, or whatever, and so they can get in and out with a pip. You know, that can move from 30 to 40. They can get in and get out again. That's scalping. You can't do that because you haven't covered your costs. Do it if you like, and you get a love letter from the broker because you made 100 rand, but it cost you 200 rand to get there. You get the point. So you've got to take into account as a retail trader because of the brokerage and spreads and that sort of thing before you get too cute on the scalping. Most scalpers use very short term. I've seen them. I used to work with a few years ago, prop traders, youngsters. Oh, they were brilliant, but very, very, very quick, almost like a virtuoso on the piano, and several hundred trades a day. Sometimes they do as much as 1,000 trades in and out of the day. But you also have to play the piano like that, you know. Don't worry about it. No, just say, guys, scalp, nothing wrong. You're still doing, have to do it like that. But just make sure you've got to do it slightly longer term to cover your costs. Otherwise, you know, let's say you make 100 rand and it's cost you 50 to get there. Your percentage you're paying out is too high. I mean, I'm not knocking against the company. I'd love you to do it. I work with the company here. But I think I'm talking from your point of view. You don't want for every 100 rand you make, giving 50, 60 in commissions, you know what I mean? And that's what often happens with the scalping. So it has its point, but it's limitation in those areas for those reasons. Having said that, if it gets a big movement, no problem. What's this move we got on Brent here? Suddenly jumped up here. Right, it's only 70 cents. But let's see it jumped in here, and then 5 minutes later it's up there, and it starts to come off. Well, it might be worth your while because, I mean, 5 minutes, you made yourself a decent bloody movement. Yeah, and you're a bit worried about it coming off. Yes, you can do it. But then you've got to be very, very, very disciplined and patient, waiting for those opportunities. The last time that happened was yesterday. Do you want to sit around 24/7 on a watch base, or you and your wife or friend or whatever, on a watch base if that happened? You know, you got to look in the practical sense. Theoretical sense, look what happened there, you can make that in a quick scalp that. And you forget, well, hang on, I mean, I had to wait all that time. And it happened at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's nothing you get on YouTube. You see there and you take the profit there. Forget that was at 2 o'clock in the morning, you're fast asleep. So you got to basically use a bit of practicality as well. So I think just not getting too cute on it, keep ideas open, as long as they're open to increase your ability to trade, rather big difference. Continue to look for this no-brainer, because there's something for nothing no-brainer. I'm considering the majority of the population of the world are getting kicked by it because that's what they're looking for. I don't want to give anything, but I want a lot. That goes against the laws of science and physics. You know what I mean? I've got no money, no idea. I want to make a lot of money. Well, hang on. And that's, unfortunately, does come and bite a lot of people. I want to make all this, yeah. What do you want to give? Oh, nothing at all. There's another one, yeah. How much you want to make a month? I want to make 50 grand a month, yeah. How much you want to put in? Oh, what's the minimum? Immediately, that tells me that person is after a no-brainer. You want something, or she wants something for nothing, and they're on pure and emotional, giving much thought. Makes sense. Yeah, that could say, what do you want to put in? What's the minimum? So you want to make the maximum, but you want to put in the minimum. Yeah, well, that's another guy's going to see his ass. Save you, you know what I mean? Now, if you had an ass like this Hurley, it'd be worth seeing. But if you've got an ass like mine, probably not. Cheers, guys. 11 o'clock's come. Catch you tomorrow morning. Have a good one. Cheers. By the way, I'm going to a quiz night tonight, so a bit grumpy tomorrow morning means I didn't do very well. Just bear that in mind. Cheers, guys. Thank you, Andili. Thank you, guys.